Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. Today on the show, we're bringing back Cassidy Williams. Cassidy, how you doing?
Oh, I am great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited for today.
I am deviously, and not maliciously. Maliciously is the wrong word. What's the right
Yeah,
word for what I am?
I think devious was a good word for it, honestly.
Devious. Yeah, that's where we are. Let's make fun of Sarah. It's gonna be great. So
Yay.
I feel like you need no introduction, but for those of us who are not familiar with your work, do you want to give us a little background?
Hello, I exist. I think that's what I say on every show of yours, and I have to keep up the trend. But for those who aren't sure that I exist, I'm on Jason's team at Netlify, and I do a lot of React and Next.js stuff, and I make a lot of memes. That's a good summary, right?
Memes, React. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, memes and React.
I see the chat is
Yeah,
kicking
they're
off.
doubtful already, so
Yeah.
we're off to a good start.
Jimena's gonna try to bury you by herself.
Yeah,
Um,
good luck. Good luck.
Yeah.
You need
So
me.
so today is a little bit of like the meme equivalent of like a Viking funeral. So we had some changes at work where Sarah Drasner used to be our VP of developer experience, right? And so she has decided to go pursue her own thing, which is like good for her. We're so excited to see what she does. But it does mean that now everybody's stuck with me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's so yeah, that was a whole thing. I was just like, dang it, now I have to pretend to like Jason. I don't
Yeah.
have to. Yeah, it was a whole thing, and I cried about it, but we can move on.
But she
Also, I'm
swallowed
kidding.
it.
Jason is okay.
You heard it here, folks. I am okay. But yeah, so now and we scheduled this episode before we knew that Sarah was going to go off on her own. And so originally we were going to troll our boss, but now because Sarah is off on her own, I mean, she's still a boss. And we're just going to go ahead and troll the heck out of her now as a kind of like, like I said, a Viking funeral. We're going to push her out to sea and light her barge on fire.
Beautifully said.
Alex says, do you think she's leaving because we scheduled this episode? I didn't think about it, but maybe.
Oh no.
Is Sarah here to defend herself? I don't know. I don't know if she was going
She
to.
said that she put it on her calendar, but the thing is, Fortnite has been all she's done ever
just
since
playing
she's left.
Fortnite.
So yeah, I assume that's where she is right now.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, all right. So while Sarah's out clicking heads, we're gonna tease her. So I think maybe we should talk a little bit about like why we're trolling Sarah. So Sarah is one of my favorite people in the entire world because she has a secret language. And so like, what are some of your favorite Sarah words?
Also, the dumpsters right here.
Good.
Hey. Perfect. Anyway, sorry, that was very important to do. So she says a lot of things. The one that I like the most that people really don't understand what she says is she says that we need to work on our Quabity Ashwins, which is a reference to The Office from a line that Creed said in an obscure episode where it means quality assurance. And so when she says that, she means like we should thoroughly test this, but instead she says Quabity Ashwins.
Quabity Ashwins. Yeah.
I'm gonna do
That is indeed a deep cut. I like that I have the fifth most points on my own stream, which how does Chris have more points than me on my own stream?
What are the points representing?
Well, right now they represent nothing, which is
Oh, okay.
Who
So it's
knows?
like, whose line is it anyway?
yeah, everything's made up and the points don't matter. It's exactly that.
Okay.
But so Quabity Ashwins is a good one. She's also responsible for why we call instead of calling content like short consumable content, we refer to everything as nuggets and bloops. Yeah. So Cassidy's TikToks, which are a national treasure at this point, we don't call them TikToks, we call them speedy bloops. And so we thought that today it would be fun to make a website that just collects some of Sarah's best sayings. The unwillingness to take that dumpster off your face is really
I kind of like it.
Right, chat.
I also am definitely contributing to the boops on the side as I talk to you.
Good. I'm All right. Well, I don't want to switch over now because I feel like I don't want to take this away from the
Jason,
chat.
Jason, you're my boss now. I have to contribute.
Oh, I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah, you invited me on this show.
Great. I'm glad that I did this. Good. Okay. Well, while we're waiting to drown in boops. Wait, what is an RWC takeover? I don't know what that is.
RWC is Rendezvous with Cassidy.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So, chat, while you're attempting, here we go. Here's some subs. Thank you, Philip John Basile. Thank you for the sub. Very much appreciated. So, chat, in addition to a glossary, we're all Sarah Drasner fans here. What do you think should be in a site that trolls Sarah Drasner? That's what we really need here. And while you're thinking about that,
community project.
Yes, this is absolutely tacos. Yep, tacos. That is correct.
Tacos, yes.
So how do you want to build this today? What did you have in mind?
So I was thinking, and so we could do a whole database thing, but I was thinking it might be fun to do a CMS kind of thing. And so I've been playing around with Prismic a lot lately, and I think it's cool. And so maybe we could do something with Prismic, and then you want to connect it to Next? I'm down to learn something new, but also
let's see how long it takes us to do Prismic, because if we can get Prismic up and running quickly, then we can take some liberties with our front end. But if we're running short on time, then we know we can go fast with Next. So that'll be our safe hatch. But okay, so on that note, let's switch over to the pair programming view and let's take a look at a few things. So first and foremost, make sure, if you're not already, that you go and follow Cassidy on the Twitter. The
Twitter is where I am.
Cassidy's Twitter is much funnier than mine, and I sometimes think that I could be funny, and I worry very much that if I tried, I would be very cringy.
Fest.
So yeah, I like that you were like, yeah, it's going to be a cringe fest. Don't do that.
Not great.
Today's episode is being live captioned by White Coat Captioning. We've got Amanda with us here today. Thank you so much for hanging out, Amanda. And that is made possible through the support of our sponsors. We've got Netlify, Fauna, Auth0, and Hasura all kicking in to make this show more accessible to more people, which I very much appreciate. That is all available on the homepage of the website. So you can see those live captions right there on the homepage. And remember, if you scroll down and look at these sponsors, these are all links, so you can go check them out. Okay, then with that being said, we're going to play with some Prismic today. So let's go play with Prismic. So if I want to do this, we're going to do what? I assume I need to log in. I think I have an account.
Yeah, you need to log in. And what is nice, I really like that their individual things are free. And so you could create the data model on your end and not have to worry about, getting stuff. Ooh, are you going to dox yourself, Jason?
I'm trying not to.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm logging in. I'm logged in. Okay, so I have a repository that I can create. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to do it from the code side? Do you want to do it from the UI side?
I like to create things in the UI just because I like the visual side of things, and then pull it in with the code.
Okay, so we'll create a new one, and we need a domain name. Should we get a domain name?
We should get a domain name.
Okay. Let's get a domain name.
This is the most important part of any project and the thing that should block everything you make.
Yes, absolutely. And in true like web developer fashion, we're buying the domain before we've built the project, which I think is important.
Perfect.
Yes. So let's go ahead and buy that.
Because that'll mean it'll definitely get built.
Exactly. That's how I hold myself accountable. Is my I don't even want to admit what my annual domain bill is.
My list of domains, it's painful.
Okay, so we've got.
They're just so fun.
That should be done, I think. Yeah, all the DNS records. Can I? Yes. Okay, so that's set up. Yeah. Everything's ready. I always forget that you can buy a domain through Netlify, and it like happens so fast that I feel like I missed a step.
Yeah, as employees, we should know this, but every single time I do it, I'm just like, wow, that is astounding. And because it is so fast and you feel like you're missing something. But I forget every single time.
Oh, alphanumerics only. Okay, so we'll just call that Drasnerd then.
Yeah, just Drasnerd, that works.
What is my job title? I don't know.
Businessman.
Other, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll put it on the free plan.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. We're in. We've got.
Okay. So there's a lot of options, but okay. I think we can stick with something relatively simple and make a type. And so there's two things in Prismic, and I admit I'm still kind of learning them. There's building like a page type, a block type, but there's also building slices. And a page can have many slices, and slices are kind of like custom components that you can do stuff with. And so I think we could make a page and then put a slice that has the two things, where it has like the phrase that she says and the translation.
Okay. Yeah. That could totally work. So a couple things. First, Alex pointed out that what I was choosing was not the domain name. It was the Prismic subdomain. So I was absolutely jumping the gun. I was just really excited to buy a domain name, honestly.
Well, might as well add one to the pile.
Someone else asks, what's with the vertical tab extension? It's not an extension. I have switched to Edge, everybody. I have
too. It's so good, and I don't understand what's happening.
I feel like there was this very. I went all the way away from Microsoft. I didn't use anything Microsoft. I switched to an Apple laptop. I was using like Chrome or Firefox. I never used my IDE was like Atom, and they've just continually gotten me back. I'm using GitHub on VS Code. In Microsoft Edge, it's like, oh boy, I'm just all the way back in, aren't I?
It's so good. Well, and people in the chat are using it too. It's a thing. Like at first, Fabian, who's in the chat right now, he's the one who said, "Hey, you should try out Edge," because I didn't like how Chrome was destroying my computer, and then Firefox had just some things where I was like, I don't know if I like this. And ever since I switched to Edge, especially because it has the Chromium base now, I still have all of the key commands that I'm used to, but there's just little performance things that are so nice, and I'm still like reflecting on that for myself. It is something.
I see Sarah has joined the chat, and nobody tell her how to do the boops. Actually, Sarah, you will need a subscription if you want to boop. So nana boo boo. But yeah, so I think the Edge is great, and so let's create a page.
There she is.
Well, now we're in trouble. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, I guess. Oh, thank you, Alex, for the gift. Yep. This is going to be great. Everybody, boop away. And while you're doing that, let's get into trolling Sarah. Sarah, were you here when we bought a domain? We own Drasnerd.com now.
She said she didn't like it.
Well, you're
So we're already on our way.
Good. We're fulfilling the promise of this episode.
I was really hoping that a .nerd would be a TLD because you'd think it would be.
It really should be.
Yeah.
Is my Slack on? It is.
Your Slack on?
I think the Slack boop just happened. I am. Let me quiet that on down. Nobody needs the notification stress.
Excuse me while I contribute to the bloops on the side while on this stream.
Yeah, I think we're done. I'm already gone. Oh, you're gonna have to be faster than that, chat.
Come on, we've got this.
I like that Cassidy's advocating for her own demise here. She's like, bury me.
Again, it says troll your boss, Jason. This is who you are now. We've got this. Make it to the top.
Oh, there we go. Oh, it's happening.
There it is.
Yes. You're hitting the timeout. Also, we are just chugging the GPU on this thing.
Yeah. My call with you that's not on the stream, my local one is just, it has been grinding to a halt. This is excellent.
Good.
This is what it should be.
Yeah, that's the format of the show. Is we render the screen unusable, I cease to exist, and you get to just continue to. You can talk about whatever you want now. I'm kind of a non-entity at this point.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Learn with Cassidy show. Now, haha, I don't have anything to say. Make good choices.
All right, chat. Let's calm it down so that we can actually get something done here. Sarah's not going to let us do this because she just wants to. She just wants to make sure that we don't actually get to build this website. But joke's on you, Sarah. This is getting done no matter what.
All right, I think I need a.
I don't know if she was here right at the beginning when we described what the website was going to do. So
nope, that's going to be a surprise. Do you deserve to do this? Yes, we do. Do you? A better question, Sarah. Do you deserve to not have this done to you?
Well, it's so bad that the actual Twitch stream is performing better than our Zoom call where we're talking. Like I'm
sure there was something I was supposed to be doing that I've completely gone off the rails about.
Watch that now.
Good. Okay, here we go. We're good. We're in good shape here. So I'm.
Oh, you can do it. Come on, little compooper.
Are we ready? We're ready. Let's
we're
make
ready.
a page.
I legitimately am a solid 15 seconds behind on local than I am on Twitch, so I'm watching our stream on Twitch now.
Oh my goodness.
This is great.
Well,
but anyway, eventually, if you haven't clicked the custom type button yet, you should do that.
Okay, I've clicked the custom type button and I'm going to write page.
Yeah, so we'll want a page to put this on.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. This was about to be a scope creep moment. We'll start with the single type that's a page.
Okay.
But just know that if this goes well, we could theoretically make pages for a variety of people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I do like that.
But it's a single type. A page is a single type.
A page is a single type. Okay, so I'm creating my single type. And in my single type, we have thank you for the sub. Oh boy, Ben is gifting all sorts of subs. Thank you, Ben. Welcome everyone to the Boop crew. Remember that you can use that Boop emote, but with great power comes great responsibility.
Is it responsibility? Oh, okay, boopity, that's fine.
All right, so we're gonna use, I love this drag and drop. So we're gonna call this a title. And that can be the API ID, the field placeholder. I don't think we need. What does this mean?
I almost always unselect all. So in the Prismic editor, they have rich text. And so we could have because it's a title, those are the different tags it allows. But when you do different rich text fields, there's a lot more buttons available than just H1 through H6.
Got it. Okay.
But usually I'll just select the one H1, or because it's just the one thing, we might not need any.
Okay. We'll drop that in and we'll see. So there's our title, and then we'll have a title, and on our title we're gonna do slices.
Yeah, so see how there's a slice zone there?
Oh, yeah.
Toggle that on.
Ooh. Create a new slice.
Okay, so now we can add a slice. And when we add a slice, we can create a new slice, and this will be what we use from now on. And so this could be like, glossary term. Perfect. We can choose a fun icon for it, describe it as like the term that needs to be defined or something.
A book. How about this one? That seems fine.
Nice. Cute. Also, something very exciting. The Zoom is now faster than Twitch again.
Ooh, we're back, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this probably is a list. That seems like the right thing.
Yeah, we could, keep it. Honestly, the display, it doesn't affect how it does anything.
Okay.
It's just how it's displayed for the person editing the page.
Okay.
So it doesn't actually matter.
Nice. Okay, so do we need a label?
I don't think so. Again, that part is for people who are editing it. And so you could just call it term if you want to, but I don't think we need it.
I'll just leave it out. Okay. So we have a glossary term, and then this is a non-repeatable zone.
And then you can, yes, if you put that in the repeatable zone, then it can be a repeating slice.
Oh, okay. So I can then do the is it plain text, or what are we looking at? Key?
Yeah, we could just do plain text or rich text. I don't know if we want to have like bold available or something.
Probably for the definition, maybe. So like the term can be plain, or we don't want a heading though. I just want like text.
Now, if you go to the slice, if you scroll back up to the slice, or never mind, you're in a good spot. So this, we're defining the slice in here, and the slice will be a repeated thing. And so you could probably just put rich text or something in there, and then key text or a title.
Yeah.
So the rich text will be the definition, and then we'll need a title for the actual term that we're defining.
Okay, so we've got a definition, and that's fine. We will allow multiple paragraphs. We won't allow H1s. This all seems fine.
Yeah. We might not want an image. Well, do we?
No images.
Oh, I meant like in what's available in the rich text.
Did I just do that? I think I did that.
There we go.
I think so. Yeah. So then, okay, so we've got that, and then we would be able to add a title, and we can probably put that up above.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Oh
no.
I did this wrong. I'm sorry. Take this out of the repeatable zone and put it in the regular one, because the slice is the repeating thing, but each slice only has one term and definition.
I gotcha. Okay, so I need to get rid of that, and then...
Can you move it? I thought you could move it.
It wouldn't let me move it, it didn't look like. So we'll say...
Clearly, I'm still new to this platform.
That is okay. So,
We're
so the
learning.
So the term will be in H2, sure. And then we'll drop this down here, and that's going to be the definition. And the definition can't have an H1 or an H2 or images, and that seems like good. All right, so now we've got a non-repeatable zone for the slice. A glossary term has a term and a definition. Good?
Great. Good.
Okay.
Woo.
So I think we're happy then. So I'm going to save it.
Yes.
Okay. Then
and I think we can have many slices on one page.
Okay. So then if we go to documents, we go to create, this is a page, and it has a title of...
We could just say like homepage or whatever.
Yeah. So we'll start with homepage, and then in here we should be able to click OK.
Beautiful. And then you can see at the top, see how it has the rich text editor there? So if we wanted to do stuff with it, we could. But those were all the buttons that you selected in the editor before.
Okay, so that seems good. And then I can add another one.
Yes, and then yeah, we can add as many terms as we want.
I love it. I'm very happy in here. Just what's we do need to turn down for what glasses. That's a good idea. Somebody wants to PR that, you can. That's absolutely a thing.
We should have
Semantics
Fortnite
Dev, thank you so much for showing up.
We should have Fortnite as a term, and it should be Sarah's new day job.
Ooh. Okay. All right. These all feel accurate. Ironclad. Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay, so we can save it.
One more.
Oh, one more.
Tacos.
Oh, yes, tacos.
Okay. I've saved. We've made the thing.
Perfect.
We now have our content. We've got a bunch of facts. And now do I want to publish it?
We do, because once we publish it, then that's when we can access it from the API. Otherwise, when it's saved, it just lives on the platform.
I have made a mistake.
Uh-oh.
I got it wrong. Bloops or videos? Sure. How dare I?
Short for, well, don't forget speedy bloops, though. Because speedy bloops are a variant of bloops that are also content nuggets.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, all right. Well, then we should probably add that in, right?
Yeah. Very important to be, accurate. I like that you can do it in between the others, too. You don't have to rearrange everything.
Okay, and then we need to move this one up so that you get the content in the right order. So you start with nuggets, then you get to bloops, then you get to speedy bloops.
Right.
All right, I'm saving. Excellent. I'm publishing. I think we're ready. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
We're good to go.
Speedy bloops are TikToks. Yes. All right. Oh, what's up? I see Lindsay's in the chat. Hello, Lindsay. Everybody's here.
Lindsay
what is up, everyone?
We've got Jacqueline in the chat. All kinds of folks.
I'm so happy to see everyone here.
Okay.
It's great. It's good being surrounded by people I like.
And people you tolerate.
That had an edge to it. It's good to be around people I like and Jason.
Okay, so now I think we can start coding and actually pull this in and make it beautiful.
I think so. And so you had recommended that we use what was it? It's Prismic JavaScript.
Yes. So they have a great little library. It's Prismic JavaScript. I think that's like the npm that you install. I think that's the whole thing.
Okay, so let's drop this in the chat for everyone's reference. And now we've got. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So then we can go through. Oh, there's a lot of installation stuff. Okay, here we go. So I can just
npm install it. It's fine.
And it's the Prismic client specifically is what we're after?
Yes. And so I admit this is where I'm mildly out of date, but yes, that is what we install.
Just realized I forgot to bring up a terminal. So let's get a terminal over here and we will make a new directory and we're going to call this draznerd.com. And then we'll get a init and then we'll npm init. Okay, and then I can npm install Prismic IO client.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm going to open this up. And inside, we have the Prismic client installed. And that's all. So,
yay.
Going back over here, do I need... Well, they've got all sorts of...
Yeah, they have all sorts of things that you can pull in. Oh, and look at that. They have a demo project that we could probably pull from. But so see this instantiate the Prismic client. You could put that in a util or something where you just import Prismic from that and then create the Prismic client. And then our repository name there is Draznerd.
Okay, yeah, yep. Let's see. What is the... Is it source pages is the...
You can just do pages.
Okay, let's just do utils then, and we'll call this one Prismic client. And we'll drop this in here. Should we be using CommonJS? Well, that's fine. And then I'm going to change this over to Draznerd.
And your options, I think that's where your access token goes.
Okay.
And so you could put inside options, it's access token and camel case, and then we got to get an access token from Prismic.
Okay, so I've got my access token, and it looks like the rest of this looks like stuff that we probably won't need today. So to get my... If your API is private, now we should be able to make this public though, because it's just published content.
That's true.
So maybe we can get away without it. Let's see. Do I have to change a setting to make that work? API and security. Use this entry point for your API access. Is that what we did here? No.
That is the thing that we put in the client, I think.
So this API, then we've got this. Oh, so but this is a different one. Search documents, and we get the homepage. Okay, all right. So we're getting content. That seems good, and we can get it as HTML or JSON.
Great.
Okay, so that seems right, and I think this will just work because it doesn't look like we actually need It doesn't look like we actually need anything. So let's leave this out.
They just said in the chat that it's public by default. So
perfect.
Hey,
perfect.
Makes our lives much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Luke? Good to see everyone. Up. Let's see. Yeah. All right. I'm ready. I'm so ready. So we've got this now, which means that we'll be able to import a client and just get content anywhere.
Right.
Let's see. We got about 55 minutes left. Do you want to do this next, or do you want to try something else?
You know, I'm curious about trying something like 11D because I've never done it before, but at the same time, I'm open to just doing next. Because
should we put it up to the chat?
Well enough. Yeah. What should we use, chat? They're going to have us use Svelte.
That's good. I think we have to say no Svelte because I don't know. Do you know Svelte? Because I don't.
I do not know Svelte. Good learning opportunity, but I don't know if we have enough time. Oh, Sarah said that we should use our butt.
No. Let's see. So we've got an 11D, another Possum Crew represent. Let's another 11D, another next. Let's do 11D. I see a few people, enough people saying 11D that let's make it happen.
Yeah, so, I have never made anything with 11D from scratch before. Like I've edited existing 11D ones, but that is it. And so learning.
Yes. I am a huge 11D fan. I really like it as a kind of simple starter. So let's make
Jason, you're a normal sized 11D fan.
I don't even have a response to that. Okay. Let's do 11D. We'll get 11D installed, and then we can do what? I think we just need some files configured, and I'm actually pretty sure that the way 11d runs is like by default. If we just make an index.md and we put in here
it'll
like
just work.
Hello chat, and then let's make our build command 11t, I think is the command. Let's run it. So it runs 11d, and then that builds out to site, and we've got this. So it's pretty friendly right off the bat. I think
that is awesome.
A couple things that I would like to do. I would like for this to live probably in a, like, I don't know. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Like for this example, we can just keep it as a home page out of a source folder or something.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, let's make it work. So then we need some layout so that we can make this look like something. So let's go to templates in here somewhere. Template languages. Where are the includes? Hello? Configure your templates. Layouts.
You keep saying hello.
I tell you, I hang out with Lindsay. She's wearing off on me. I'm learning how the youth speak. The youths.
Yeah, our teammate Lindsay, who's in the chat today, when she can't find something, she's like, hello? And Jason has been doing that all day, and it's very funny.
I've been doing that for like a month now. It's in my brain. This is just who I am now. Okay, so what we can do then is we can start with some basics here. So we will pull across some front matter, and I want this to be, I think we can just call it like default or something, and then we have to figure out where this lives. Includes.
Okay.
And then we give it a layout name. And I'm pretty sure we can use like whatever we want by default. I know liquid, but it looks like nunjux is the...
I was going to say, NJK is nunjux, right? I don't know if I've used that one before.
I think this will be, like, we're not doing anything particularly intense today, so I think we can get away with just this. So let's do that. Okay. We'll do NJK, and then I can set up an includes folder. And do default.njk, and then inside of it, I made it a folder name. Okay, well, I'll try that one more time. This button.
Jacob Bolda said in the chat, hello, is this young at heart? And it's the butterfly meme.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, you're not wrong. Wait, how do I do? Can I make you use HTML? And then I want, yes, autocomplete.
HTML defaults to liquid. Huh.
So now I have title, and then I should be able to do like content. And I think what'll happen is if I put in something that's like, we should be able to run this one more time. And we'll set up a dev server here in a second, but then when we look, oh no. Oh, you didn't work at all. You worked the opposite of good. What happened here? Index.md.
I have to sneeze, so I'm going to mute myself really quick.
Oh, I know what I did.
Sorry, everyone. I don't want you all to hear my snot. Wow, that opened my brain. Okay, we're back.
Okay, I figured out what I did. I edited the generated file, not the actual template. So then if we look in here, it's not saved, so I'm gonna not save, and then we'll open it again. There, look at it go.
Hey,
this is broken
wow.
though.
Oh.
Because I need to mark it as safe. Maybe? How fast can we get this? There it is. Okay. So in nunjux, I guess we have to tell, this is like we're like piping it into a function, and safe, I guess, lets us use HTML as far as I understand. I have a limited understanding of nunjux.
Same.
Okay. So then,
cool.
Yeah, we can run serve, which Steph is saying in the chat, which is probably what we should do. So let's do that. We'll set this one up as dev. And we'll say serve, and then we'll make sure that it's valid JSON. And then I think we can npm run dev. There it goes. What did I just do? This button.
Oh no, what?
Hacha! All right, now we have, I don't know what that sound was that I just made.
Ah!
But so this then gives us our content, and then if I like delete this part, it live updates. Okay, great. So we're in good shape here.
Great.
So then we need to get data in, and to get our data in, I think we need to look at 11D's data. Let's make this bigger so we can see the sidebar. Data cascade, and then the data cascade. Let us do data files, and data files go in _data, and I think they can just be JavaScript, right?
Ooh.
Yes, JavaScript data files. Okay, so in JavaScript data files, we can just export whatever we want, and we get to run functions.
Got it.
Yes. So we can then like make an async and stuff. Cool. So that means then, theoretically speaking, we should be able to hit our Prismic endpoint through data, and then we'll call it glossary.js. And then in here, we should be able to get the client from, or this is going to be destructured, and that's going to be require utils Prismic client.
Well, we have the one in our utils folder that we can use, right?
Yeah, that's the one that I just grabbed. Is the
Oh, I see. I'm in sync with Twitch again, and so I'm just behind enough. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I have my async function, and that is going to return some data. So let's start by just returning like any data here, and I'm gonna make it return like an array of 1, 2, and then so we can leave this out for a second, and then I think the way that this will work is we should be able to just like put that in here. So if I write glossary, because that's the name of the file, we should get whatever the content is that gets returned. So this array. Let's find out if that works.
Yeah. Wow, that's so nice and simple.
Unexpected token export. Oh, I know what I did. I mixed ES modules, and
oh, okay.
That should work. I might have to stop and restart because I broke that. There we go. Okay, so now we have our data. So let's figure out how to get our content out, which I think takes us back to the Prismic docs, maybe.
Right. And so there's an API for the JavaScript client. And so you could do like client.get by UID and stuff and be able to get our page. And then from the page, we can get the body of the page, which is all the different slices.
Ooh, should I set that up?
Oh, I didn't give it client.query. That can work.
Okay. Do I need to set a UID on this? Because I definitely did not.
Nah. Do the dot query thing that it said.
Okay, so
we only have the one document.
Dot query, an empty query will return all the documents. That seems good enough for me.
Yeah.
So in glossary, we will, that's a promise, so we can get result equals await client dot query everything, and then let's just return the result and see what we get.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
So then we've got results.
So now it's just parsing that.
Yes. So then if we take result.results, what does that look like?
Results.data or something, if I'm skimming this right.
Let's do this. And oh, that made it worse. Can I format this? Stringify, and then let's make it look a little nicer. There we go. Okay, so each of these
did that just work?
Nice.
It did just work. So this gives us our page, and then in our page, we have data. And then in the body, we have slices. And then our slices, non-repeat. Okay. Then we've got more slices.
So we want to get all the things of type slice and then the terms in each of those.
Okay. So to do that, then we need a little bit of parsing, right? So it's going to be in data.
We're going to need to write code.
We are going to need some code. Slugs page. So I wonder if... Okay, so we're going to do some stuff that's not good. Hard code getting the page.
So we would need to add code.
And so we'll get the page will be result 0.
Oh, so we would need to add code.
We do need to add code. So then once we have the page, if we throw the page in here, that will simplify to just an object, or it will break entirely. What did I do? Oh, it was result.results.
Code.
Right.
Is that right?
I like that we're just like continually doing code. Okay, so then once we've got the page, we can get data, page.data. I'm just using this as like a glorified console.log here.
Is that right?
Okay, so then we've got the title and the body.
And so I think, title we can get, and then we could do dot body, and then is it dot find? And then we could do in find, that's when we can pull out all of the different chunks.
I think we can. So let's do this where we'll drop in the title, and then we'll keep data in there. And what we should see is that we'll get, is that going to work, or did I break it? I broke it. Cannot read property value of undefined. So I missed a piece.
Dang it.
Title. This page. Oh.
.data.
Siri, no.
Title.value.
Page.data. It's page.data. Oh, there's a page prop there. So maybe actually I should do it like this. Huh? Because then we can just get at the values a little more easily. I think I might need to stop and restart here. I do. Okay. All right, so here's our title. And then we need to go into the body here, and you were saying use a find?
Yeah, I think we can use dot find and then do like if the slice type is equal to glossary term.
Okay. We'll call this entry or something, and then we'll do if entry dot type equals slice type. Slice type.
Slice underscore type.
Glossary term. Then we want to return, or is find.
Find returns the thing. So you just return the Boolean. So
is find going to give us the first one or all of them?
Oh, I thought it was all of them. Maybe I'm wrong. Or is it dot sum?
I think, do you mean, is it filter that we want here?
We could also use filter, yes. Well, doesn't filter, we get individual things from it, but we just want to get all of the slices?
Let's see what happens. I'm gonna put terms in here. So with find, we're gonna do terms, and we get the first term.
Find is the first one. Okay.
Okay. So let's try.
Thank you, Nielsen 94. That was my bad.
Filter gives us all of them. Okay, great. Yeah. So we want filter, and then once we've filtered, we can parse over this a little bit. So why don't we chain this and we will map it and get the slice. And then for each of these, we want to return the term, and the term will be non-repeat. What have I done with this? That is a big mess that I don't want. Slice. Did I miss something?
Slice. I'm just behind you enough where I'm not sure if you've typed the correct thing just in like 5 seconds away. We do term dot value.
Term dot. We have to. So we get into this non-repeat dot term.
Right.
Dot term. Okay, so we should probably pull this out a little bit earlier. So the term is going to be no. So data. Let's call it I hate naming things. Is going
Just
to be
default to poop or use Samsara terms.
So then we want the term is going to be fields dot term dot value 0 text. Okay, so that is a little bit messy, but it's going to be okay. And then for the definition, we want the same thing, I think.
It's the exact same thing, except it's dot definition instead of dot term.
Dot definition dot text. Okay, so then this, if assuming we've done this correctly, what we should see in terms now is the title and then the terms as an array. Term, definition.
Yes.
Aha! Okay. So now that we've got that, we can drop out the raw data. And now our 11D site is just getting what we need. We get a title and then we get some terms that's coming out of Prismic. We are very happy about that.
We are so happy.
My bucket.
My bucket. Okay, so then we have to remember how to do looping. Because I can do glossary
my
title.
Bucket.
And that should... Oh no. Okay, so that part didn't work. Why didn't that work? Glossary.title. That should have
worked. Is it glossary like dot something dot title?
I don't think so.
No, it's not. Huh.
What's up with that?
What if you did with square brackets? Does it yell at you there? It shouldn't.
User? Return username. Do you show me how to use it then? Return root. Nunjux. Oh boy, you're not going to show me a template, are you? Zach. My variable. What up? What did I do? Terms? Well, I don't want to use terms. I want to use title because that's what we have.
Yeah.
So we've like this title here. I want to display that, and then we want to loop through the terms. So to do that, I want.
Oh wait, Jay Nielsen had a good point. Aren't you returning a stringified value?
Oh, I am. Good call. Yeah.
Very good call.
Oh boy, that would have haunted me all day. Never would have figured that out. Like for real. Okay. So then
that was it. Thank you so much.
Hey, there we go. Thank you.
Yay. It's an object. Okay.
So then we need to figure out how to loop in here.
And it was
loop 4. Anyone remember what the for loop?
I'm doing some Googling.
Nunjux for loop. Con FYI has us covered. It is.
Oh, yay. Thanks, Con FYI. You've done it again.
Going to be %for term in glossary dot terms, and then inside of here we have our stuff, and then we can end for, I think. Is that right? I think. Let's try it. It might explode. And then what we can do is we can set up a term dot term and term dot definition, and I need to wrap this in curlies. Hey.
Hey.
Look at it go. All right. So now we have, I would say 30 minutes to,
no, this will work.
Yes.
Well,
cute.
Let's call it 15 minutes to make this cute. And then we'll get it deployed up at draznerd.com.
Cool. So do you have a preferred styling way of doing things?
I mean, I default to plain CSS most of the time because that's the thing that I know best.
Yeah. If you'd like to learn something new, we could throw in something like Bulma, which can give us some base things to use, and then do our own styles on top of that.
I'm down to do whatever. What do you think, chat? Do you want to go plain CSS, or do you want to try a framework?
Yeah, tell us.
See some Bulma votes. Bulma votes. Try the thing. Bulma. Okay, let's do Bulma.
Okay, we're trying the thing. It's bulma.io.
.io. Okay. Getting started. npm install Bulma.
It's pretty straightforward. Basically, we get classes that we can add to things.
Okay. Let's make this a little bigger so I can actually see what's going on. Go to the getting started docs. And then how should I?
The overview is so that we have to get the CSS library.
Okay. You only need one CSS file to use Bulma. All right.
Hey.
Wait, can I? Okay. a lot of clicks. Okay, here we go. So I am importing. Do I install the npm package? Okay.
Does install? I think installing it is it.
How do I not use it from the? I don't understand. So what am I installing if I'm not?
Yeah.
Do I need to use the CDN?
This shows how little I've used Bulma. We could just not npm install it and use the CDN at the top of a CSS file, and that's it.
Import bulma.css. Is this?
Oh, there it is. That works.
Oh, here we go. Here goes the corgi stampede.
Woo!
Thank you for the sub, Nate. Appreciate it. Okay. Let's use the CDN, I think, because it seems like there are potentially some steps for this that we're not ready for.
We're going fast.
Okay, so I'm going to take this. We already have that one. I want the HTML link. That seems like a good idea. Okay. Coming into our template. And I'm going to drop that in. We'll make this bigger so everybody can see it. So here is Bulma. And now that we have Bulma, we can do a layout, I would assume.
Yes. And so now we can basically just add the CSS classes. So for example, if we add class title to our title, it will make it a title.
Okay.
But what I like in particular is they have a card that we could use. They have some card classes, and so we could use that to have each term have their own little thingy.
Okay, so let's take a look at how this works. I don't have it running anymore. Let me start the server again. npm run dev. Okay, so we've already got some defaults. I can see some globals got applied.
Yeah.
That's all good. So then we probably need like an overall container. So if I want to do an overall container, it looked like they had one called container.
Yes, and they also have columns and stuff too if we wanted to do columns.
Well, that at least gets it off the sides. Is widescreen is okay. Is there like if we want to do like a kind of a general setup of here's a basic page so that we could steal some of the like outer framework of like header footer stuff?
They do, and it's somewhere on their GitHub, but I need to find it.
Okay. No, I don't. Let's see. GitHub. That's Nunjucks. Let's go here. Let's head over to the GitHub.
They have a cool little expo page too to show how people have used it before.
Nice. Okay. So CSS only. Documentation.
I know I've seen this page where they're just like, here's a basic page with a title and blocks.
Columns, elements, maybe. Block, yeah, components.
I think it's content.
Layout, header. Horizontal level, which can contain almost any other object. Hero, section.
Section, I think, is what we might want.
Okay, let's try that. Direct children of the body. Okay, that's what I want.
There
Section,
we go.
class, section. Yep. So let's do a section. And let's go back and look. Hey, that looks better. That's nice. What we were after. Okay, so now that we've got that, then we can do, you said there were cards?
Yeah, and so they have cool things called cards, and they have boxes too. There's a few different ones, but they have some really just nice base styling that we could override if needed.
Okay, beautiful. So I think for these, we want the content, and is there like a title? Title. Yes, okay. So if I take this, take this over to the side and take this over here, then we can do one of these. So we'll go with a div class card. And then inside of that, we want a div class.
Ooh, someone made a good point that we should be using tiles instead, and tiles are pretty cool.
Tiles?
Yeah.
Tiles.
Thanks for that, MDS Bizalam. I don't know how to pronounce your username.
Tiles. Okay, I'll do this. This works. So let's get a tile.
Because then we can use just basic styles inside of them.
Tile. Vertical tile, top tile. I don't know that I fully understand what's happening here. So
I think this is just like there can be a giant tile and tiles inside, but just start with class tile.
Okay.
And then a title and subtitle in them.
Okay, so we'll call this a tile. And then this is going to be content. Oops. So we'll do this one and this one as article. I like that. And then we've got a div down here for our content. Inside of that, we have let's do an h2 class title with our term. And then we can do a div class content again for term definition. And I'm thinking that probably needs to be That probably needs to be a paragraph, would be my assumption. Let's see how this looks. Okay, so that got us closer. Let's make this a paragraph. Okay, not a lot changed.
Yeah, not a lot changed. I expected something beautiful to happen.
Okay, so this is simplified. We've got our term and our definitions in. That we can be happy with.
It looks like if you give it the notification class, then it has a background color that's applied, and then you can style that. I might be wrong. I hope I'm right.
There we go. That works.
Hey.
And then what if we wanted these to, let's say, actually tile, because they're currently full width. How do I make you is 8? That seems like a thing that we can just try.
Thing. Yeah.
Let's see what happens if we push the button. Is 4. Okay. This is okay. This is a good size, I think.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how to make them wrap. We do that with tile is ancestor.
I know that they have like flex classes. Maybe it has to be in a flex class.
Is vertical is 8. Does anybody know this? What the is primary is info. Nice. Okay. Yeah, this markdown file is no longer a markdown file. I could probably just make it an HTML file. Layout, container, columns. Let's try this. Sizes, responsiveness. Let's look at basics. So columns, is that right, do you think?
That columns seem right, but at the same time, if we did columns, then we would have to get the number of terms and make sure that it I think we would have to more explicitly design that. Yeah, I think that's what we might want. Unwrap that around the title. Yeah.
Okay, maybe that needs to go around the outside, like
the container of the articles. Nice.
Okay, so that's closer.
That's better. We can add flex. Well, you added flex wrap already.
No, that's not it. Maybe I need to take off this is 4.
Oh yeah, maybe.
No. Do I need container there? I don't know. Let's find out. Kind of. I don't know. That's overflow hidden. So that's not quite it. Columns.
I'm looking at the docs, but because that just doing flex wrap should work. Let's see. Oh, really quick with what you added to that top level thing. Did you do? You did is flex wrap. Never mind.
Is flex wrap, and then these.
Wait, is flex wrap?
I'm sorry.
In the docs, if you go to the docs for flex wrap, there's an is flex wrap.
Is flex wrap.
I'm starting to really not like this, but there is flex wrap.
Okay, so that's a little bit better. What about a gap? Can we line?
I wonder if you can add the is for thing back to add a gap.
I have the is for. Is sorry. Justify content space between. Okay. I will say this feels a little bit like just writing CSS.
Yeah, at this point, we probably should have just done this ourselves, and I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. How what about gap? No? Margin. How do we do margin? Spacing. Let's see. Margin. Maybe we can do like but I want like flex spacing.
That has to exist. I'm going to... Oh, if you search in the filter links, there's spacing helpers. Oh, wait, that's what you were looking at.
I was looking at that, but I might be... Margin padding.
Like if you just did M-1 around everything, or M-...
Yeah,
whatever.
so that'll work, but it's gonna... I'll show you what I'm thinking. So if I save this, now these are like out of alignment. Like if I make that more pronounced.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking for is like, which I actually think this needs to go on the parent. But see, that apparently breaks all the styles, which is interesting.
Huh.
Oh, you know what I bet it is?
What?
I bet if I do one of these, I bet it'll suddenly start working. It won't. Interesting. So this doesn't like... Why doesn't it like the gap? That's bizarre. Okay.
A couple people have been saying that we needed to nest something more for tiles.
We need to nest for tiles?
Have tile is ancestor wrapping the whole thing.
Okay, so going back to here, instead of this, we do tile is ancestor?
Yes.
Okay.
Or I don't know if it's instead of or including, but have that in there together.
Maybe I need the is for out if we're doing tile things. Okay, that's slightly better.
Yeah.
Layout.
We're getting there.
Tiles. You only need a single thing, the tile. Okay, I'm sort of with you. How it works, nesting. Start with an ancestor tile. Add tile that will distribute themselves horizontally. Can resize. So we do need the is for.
Right.
Do I have to do like wrap groups to stack them?
I feel like you shouldn't have to. Unless this is very not flexy and more gritty.
1, 2, 3 is child box. Yeah, these are like stacked vertically. There's no auto wrap. Three columns.
This is a great learning experience.
So it looks like these are pretty prescriptive, not...
Yeah, I thought that they would be a bit more flexible.
Okay,
hey,
so
fun.
at the potential... I think maybe we just try this in regular... I'm sorry, Bulma fans. I think this is going to be way faster if we do it with...
I agree.
Without Bulma.
I regret bringing it up in the first place.
Okay, so let's call these like...
Someone said add is not working.
Okay, so if we call these glossary, we can call it like a glossary container, and then we can pull this in here, and we'll set it like so, and then we can make this display flex, and we'll do flex wrap. We can do a gap of 1 rem, and we'll do justify content space between. And now we have that general setup there. I'm going to pull this tile stuff out. And what we should see, I think, is there we go. Then if we set up our glossary term, we can set a background of, let's set it to like triple E. We'll give it a border radius of, call it 1 rem. and padding of 1 rem. Then if we set that in here, we've got tiles, and then let's set a width of, or actually, let's see, should we do, let's just go with a width of like 30%. And then our gap would be what? If we want 30%, that's going to be 3. So our gap would be 5% to add up to 100.
Well, wouldn't it be 3?
Well, I did bad math.
With the thingy. Yeah, that works.
Because I think this is 30, 35, 65, right. 70, 100.
Yes. Good job. I'm wrong.
Why is our gap only... Oh, so that part sucks. Oh, here's what we can do. Let's do 1 rem. And then here we can do a calc. And we'll go 33% minus 1 rem.
Nice. Yep. Have you ever had trouble?
That's not perfect, but it's okay.
Yeah, it gets the job done. I've had some weird calc bugs when I use calc with preprocessors. It works fine with regular CSS, but sometimes you got to wrap it in some.
I have largely stopped using preprocessors just because I find that like CSS these days does most of what the preprocessors did. So one thing I use them for really is nesting. I really like using. That's nesting. Fair. That's fair. The nesting is yeah. I do miss that. Okay, so this seems like it's pretty okay. So I'm gonna go out here and let's drop this out, and instead we can do a pretty like rudimentary reset. So we can go box sizing, border box. We can set
margin
body
0, padding 0, all that jizz.
Have a shortcut for the system font, so we can use that.
Nice.
We can set the margin to 0, and then if we set margin 0 here, then we can use one of my favorite selectors, the lobotomized owl selector, to give everything else a margin top of 1 rem, which typically looks pretty nice. I'm happy with that. And then we can take our section, and our section can be, let's go max width of 90, a margin of, let's go 4 rem auto, and that should, hey, look at that. And then if we go back here, one more thing, we can go to align items top.
Could we center the title?
Flex start. What am I doing? Align content? What am I doing wrong here? This absolutely works.
It's align items.
Align items, glossary container, align items, start. What is happening? Why are you? Oh, I know why. Okay. So it's going to be align items, flex start, and then these have a margin of 0 because we did the lobotomized owl, which was giving them top margin. Yeah. Aha. Okay. So that's good enough. It's not responsive, but we don't have time to go responsive, but we do have time to center that title, which I think is a good idea. And then we will let's go H1 and we'll go text align center. Good. Okay, let's see if we can deploy a site in under 4 minutes. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to git add all, nope, need to git ignore. So let's touch git ignore. I'm going to echo node modules into git ignore.
Nice.
And then we can see smart. It dropped out.
I always open it like a chump.
Site.
No, this will work. This will work.
Yes.
Git ignore. And that just adds it at the bottom so I can see I'm dropping files out here. That should be good. So let's add everything. Good. Okay. So git commit. Okay, then I'm going to GitHub repo create learn with Jason draznerd.com. It's a public repo. Yes. Okay.
Nice.
And I can git push origin main, get all that stuff up there. All right, so then I can netlify init. And we're going to create and configure a new site. We're going to put it on my team. We're going to call this draznerd. The command is going to be npm run build. The deployment directory is going to be site. We didn't use any functions today. We don't need a netlify. Let's keep a netlify tomlin there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that that's there, I can open this. Here's our site. It is building, and what I'm going to do is while that's building, I'm going to head over and get to the domains. I'm going to make this bigger so that we can see everything. Now add a custom domain.
And because we got it on Netlify, I think it's just like seconds.
Yeah, so this is good. This is provisioning now. draznerd.com. It's good. Good. Verified DNS, provision certificate. You can
usually
do it. Don't you lie to me.
Oh, look at that. It's so speedy. Usually it does that with the custom domain within like an hour just because of DNS things.
Yeah. But so then this should be live, and here within HTTPS, not quite yet, but we'll get there. So within a little bit here, that'll be live. So y'all can check this out. draznerd.com is live. Sarah is so happy. And we'll make sure we go back and share with Sarah all of the good things that have happened here. But I wonder, how do webhooks work? How fast can we set up a webhook, do you think?
Really fast, actually.
Okay, let's do it.
It's in the settings there.
Okay, so here's our webhook. Deploy to Netlify. And I need to...
And if anybody wants to know more about this, I wrote a blog post on the subject somewhere on the Netlify blog.
Do you want to drop a link to that in the chat? No. Okay, so let's go back. Team overview. Here's Draznerd. Let's go to the site settings, build and deploy, and I'm going to find a build hook. I'm going to changes in Prismic, saving. Now I have a build hook. So I'm going to go back over to Prismic. I'm going to drop this here. I could set a secret, but I'm not going to. And we're going to add this webhook. All right, so this is good. So then I'm going to go out to our content and let's update this. So we'll update, publish. And now what we should see is if we go back to deploys, it's building.
Yay!
Hooray! So
automatically.
Love it. And I think
so fun. And it's so fast too.
Yeah. Let me check. Are you ready here? Provision. It'll get there. So sometime in the next hour or so that'll go.
It's so fast, but like
Hacha, it's
fast
live.
in terms of SLS stuff. Yay!
So yes, and let me pull this link up. So here's more if you want to go and do. But yeah, so we're in really good shape here. Like I'm really happy with that. We were able to get a full site set up with a CMS. We got it configured on Netlify. It's deployed to production with a real domain name. The certificate's being provisioned. That'll be done in an hour or so. So not bad for a day's work.
Yeah.
Sarah, how do you feel? Do you feel like this was an appropriate amount of trolling, or did we let you down? Or did we let you down in the right way or the wrong way, I guess is the better question.
Yeah. Yeah, like how much do we disappoint you?
Yes.
And what kind?
And while we're talking about that, remember the show is always live captioned. We've had Amanda with us today from White Coat Captioning all day. Thank you so much. And that has been made possible by Netlify, Fauna, Auth0, and Hasura, all of whom are kicking in to make this show more accessible to more people, which I really appreciate. And you can find links to those sponsors right there on the homepage. Sarah left. Oh,
she said that we are hooligans, and that and hate you, love you, bye bye. So I'll take it.
All right, fine. Well, I guess we'll just have to go find her and kill her in Fortnite instead.
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically in Fortnite.
Yes.
Just specifically
in Fortnite. Okay, so next week, or I guess later this week, we've got Nicholas Burke coming in, and he's going to teach us Prisma, which is like an ORM. It's a cool way to manage data. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be very interesting. Please come and check that out. We've also got Jennifer Waddell is coming. We're going to do building forms in Angular. Nathaniel Okenwa's coming back. We're going to do a custom IVR, this is going to be really fun. It's like with the press 1 for options thing. We're going to make one to troll people, which is going to be great. Shandai Person is coming. We're going to do functional reactive style components. And then what's really exciting, Ben Hong, who's been in the chat today, Ben Code Zen, is going to take over for a week and do a week of Learn with Ben, which I'm really, really, really excited about. He's going to do a couple episodes. So please make sure you go and mark your calendar and show up for these. They're going to be super, super fun. Cassidy, is there anywhere that people should go? I'm going to do a quick shout out to your stream so that people can...
At Cassidy is my handle for everything except for Instagram because someone took it from me. So as long as you look up Cassidy, you'll find it.
Yes. So go follow Cassidy everywhere. Anything else people should do before we call this one done?
Dance.
Okay. I think that's a successful ending. I think we stuck that landing. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's go find somebody to raid, and we will see you next time.